What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Meet the Experts. I am your host, Jay Vix with JBI Mobile Marketing, the owner and operator of Journey Builder, which is our all-in-one marketing suite and solution that this whole entire show is powered by. So what the heck is Meet the Experts, you might be wondering? It's a concept we thought we were brilliant enough to invent a few years ago, and then we found out other people did the exact same thing. We like to refer to it as the anti-podcast. It's a video creation service for small business owners, franchise owners like our guest today, but anybody who has a product or service that they want to get out there into the world using video. And we know that creating video is not the easiest thing for the average small business owner, aka non-marketer, to do. So we were like, hey, what the heck? It's so easy to get people on video and let them talk about their products and services and then give them the video without us having to go to their location and set up all the lights and all the camera. We can do it remotely. If there's one thing that COVID taught us, was we can do remote videos. And so that's really how it was kind of born. And now it's our way of getting to meet really, really cool business owners with lots of varying perspectives and views and learn a little bit more about them. And then we give the business owner or the guest the videos totally free. Sounds like a great business model, right? There's plenty of other opportunities that come from it, and we'll still get to eat. So don't take pity on us. Anyway, looking forward to today's episode. Today I have Jesse Coslov with us with the Dog Stop, and it's a franchise. I didn't quite realize that. So let's get him up here and talk about it. He's the CEO, and he's based in the Pittsburgh area. Jesse, hi. How are you?
I'm great, Jay. How are you?
I'm doing well. I love talking with. I mentioned this to you before. I love talking with franchisors. At one point in my life, I tried the franchise route. I bought a candy bouquet franchise back in 2005.
Okay.
2003. I went out of business by 2005 because I didn't understand the concept of working capital. I totally ran out of money and
Yeah.
didn't take into consideration it might take a few years to grow the business to where it could fund itself, and that I was going to have to fund it for those two. But that was my MBA in like 2 years. It was like
Sure.
here's like real world learning. So, but I've always been fascinated by the franchise model. So we're going to talk a little bit about that with the Dog Stop today. But let's get started with just tell us a little bit more about Jesse and kind of a little bit more about who you are.
Sure. No. So my name is Jesse Coslov. I'm the founder and CEO of the Dog Stop. I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right here where we're headquartered, and left a few times for college and a few other business opportunities, but ended up back here in Pittsburgh in 2007. And was trying to figure out, what's next. All throughout high school and college, I'd worked in the hospitality space, bars, restaurants, and worked in commercial real estate for a little while. And, another kind of key component to my life had always been, I grew up with dogs, always had at least two in my household growing up. I got the first dog of my own in college, much to my parents' chagrin. And I quickly realized, wow, my parents were right. I wasn't taking care of those dogs in, elementary, middle, and high school. My parents were taking care of them. I was just playing with them. And then, in college and first few jobs after college, really was exposed to all the different types of dog care out there that I needed as this young student trying to figure out how to take care of myself, and now a dependent being my dog. I went to school in Washington, D.C. I worked in Dallas, Texas. I had come back home to Pittsburgh and had a lot of experiences with dog care that, just didn't work for me. And I quickly kind of came to learn that, unfortunately, those were industry standards that just didn't match what I was looking for. And as I talked to a lot of others, friends, family, and colleagues across a variety of different industries, everybody kind of agreed, like, yeah, it's not what you want it to be, but what are you going to do? There's no other alternative. So that was kind of my aha, inspirational moment to say, well, maybe we can create something better. And I know what I want, and it seems like everybody else wants it. So let's try to make it happen. So that was really the inspiration for the Dog Stop. those industry standards that I didn't like, were really, first and foremost, a total lack of transparency. I mean, so many of these places, and still today, unfortunately, don't let you take a tour. You want to go in the back and see where your dog's going to be playing or staying, and it's a nope. Can't do that. We don't do it for insurance purposes or whatever the excuse may be. Piggybacking on that, the customer service is traditionally pretty bad. Most places act as if it's your privilege to pay someone to watch your dog, when in reality it should be the exact opposite. Every other customer service industry out there, it's whatever we can do for you, the customer's always right, so on and so forth. And then lastly, once I did find those places that I liked, there were 4 or 5 different places that I had to go. One for daycare, one for boarding, one for grooming, one for obedience training. A 5th or 6th for retail. So, my idea in the very early days was, let's try to get as close as possible to 100% transparency. Let's have the best possible customer service, building upon everything I learned in the service industry. And then let's combine all the services under one roof, because it just makes sense for me, and it's going to make sense for everybody. And why would you want to send your customer out there to go find some other service provider for something that you could be offering yourself? So
makes perfect sense. Total sense. I mean, that's why we have our software journey builder, which is kind of like, you want email marketing, text marketing, CRM, website builder, funnel builder, phone call, inbound track, like all in one, because I don't want to send people to 17 different agencies to do different things. And I feel like it's the same thing in exactly what you just said. And I want to talk about some of those services and who they help a little bit more in depth here. I just got back from Dallas too, so it was cool. I probably have something to talk to you there. I was there for a week last week, and it was great. But you talked about all these different services, and as a dog lover, you hit something that hit home with me. We have one place that's 3 hours away that we would prefer to take our, now we have one dog, one passed earlier this year, but we have a place that we would always take them when we would go down to the beach, because they had cameras. They'd let us, see whatever we wanted to see whenever we want. They're very transparent, right? They had all these services. And when we moved to where we are now in the Greensboro area, it seemed like everybody wanted to charge us more for each of these services. It was like all inclusive down there, but then it was like, oh, you want overnight? Well, that's extra. Then you want you want them to sleep in their own crate? Oh, that's extra. You want them to play for 30 minutes? Oh, that's extra. And it's like, by the time we add it up, we're spending like, I don't know, like whatever it would cost us to stay at like some famous hotel in LA for our dogs for a day. And it was awful. But so let's talk about those services, and then who that target audience might be for you.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, and that was, the exact problem that I experienced, and I think so many people experience, nationwide. And that's why, the Dog Stop, we wanted to come up with this, obviously, all of the services under one roof, but also establish, what is the base, level of care and offering that every dog owner probably wants, and more importantly, every dog actually needs. And that's why, at the Dog Stop, when we advertise a price, $45 a night for boarding, you're going to pay $45 a night for boarding. And that includes your meals. That includes all medications that you may need to be given to your dog. That includes full days of daycare. There's no extra charge, because look, the dogs, they're social. They want to be out and playing. Of course, if you want to add on additional things that are not kind of necessary components to, a happy stay for your dog, you can. That would be like, room service, treats, delivered, above and beyond what your dog normally gets, puzzle time, leash walks, cuddle time. Literally, somebody will come into the kennel and read a bedtime story to your dog. And again, these are all really nice to have add-ons, but certainly not part of, what somebody would traditionally expect as kind of the base level of care when you're boarding your dog. But, at the Dog Stop, again, all of those services, it is the overnight boarding anytime you're, needing to go on vacation or just need to have your dog out of the home for the night. Dog daycare, which is just during the day while you're at work. Daycare can go anywhere from a full day, which is 12 and a half, 13 hours, to a half day, 6 hours, or even by the hour. So you're just running to the gym or the supermarket or whatever it is. We offer the full service grooming. So everything from, a quick nail trim or ear cleaning to a bath, a full haircut, de-shedding treatment, you name it. These days, people have some awesome requests, and basically anything they do for themselves, they'd love to see done to their dog. And we're here to make that happen in a safe and responsible way. The obedience training, obviously a very important part of a healthy relationship and well-behaved dog. Anything from, puppy classes, basic manners, all the way up to, canine good citizen and therapy dog certifications, and even some higher level kind of competition level training and agility and all kinds of cool things like that. We have a retail store that's filled with kind of the best toys, treats, accessories on the market. It's a higher end offering, not necessarily a higher price point, but higher quality. Making sure that, every product in our store is there. It serves a purpose. So if your dog has allergies or medical conditions or whatever it may be, we have very specific products, geared towards helping solve those problems for you. And then lastly, we offer the in-home services because we recognize not every human and or dog is comfortable with the concept of coming to, our facility. So we do the dog walking, where we come to your house 1, 2, 3 times a day, walk the dog while you're away or at work. We do overnight sitting, again, come into your house, staying. A lot of pet transportation, pick up and drop off from our facility, the airport, the veterinarian. Some people don't like to be the bad guy and take their dog to the vet, so they ask us to do it. And any combination and hybrid of all of those services kind of put together. So truly meant to be, a one-stop shop for all of your dog care needs. And because we have so many different services, we truly have something to offer every dog owner out there. Not just the overly friendly, social, easy to care for dogs, which is kind of what the industry is more so focused on, and what most of our competitors are going after. We're here to help every person out there with a dog, and through all of our different services, we're confident that we have at least one, if not 4 or 5 different ways to help you be a better dog owner.
Oh man, that you just hit so many things that, like, as a dog owner, I was just like, yes, yes, tell me more, tell me more. And then my wife has talked to me several times. My wife has said, I don't know how she feels still this way, but over the last few years, she has continuously said, I would love to just be able to work with dogs every day. Like, can we open a business, like a doggy daycare business? My wife has said that to me numerous times, and we haven't really explored that possibility, nor do I think we might ever explore that possibility. But at least I know I'd be giving you a call first. So that's because it sounds like, we use Rover, and we have a great person to come to our house 3 times a day, and when we needed her for 4, she would do that, and like we found, but like, those people leave, they move on, they do something different. Like, it's not everything through one. And then you mentioned going to the vet and being the bad guy. Man, when I take Gemma to the vet, that she just hates me for it. I can tell in her whole demeanor, and
Right.
yeah. So
Yep. No, you're spot on. And it's interesting. I think, like anything, everyone, feels, whether it be, silly or you're unique, or that they are different in their needs. But, at the end of the day, we all just love our dogs and want to do whatever we can for our dogs. And, nobody wants to be the bad guy, and everybody is looking for that peace of mind, and, for another person, in your case, be the dog walker or a facility, to be able to build that trust and kind of show them that, hey, these people care about and love my dog as much as I do, and I can feel good about going and doing and living my life, and knowing that my dog is going to have a great time, and be happy to see me when I get back. But I'm not going to have to worry about it. So that's what it's all about. And one of the amazing things about what we and all of our franchisees offer in markets all across the country, it is such an important offering, and so in such high demand that it's why the business works so well.
that's awesome. And yeah, how many locations do you currently have right now?
So we currently have about 30 open nationwide. We're everywhere from Pittsburgh and getting into the Northeast. We're over in Delaware. We're as far west as northwest as Seattle at the moment. We're down in Florida and Texas. So we've got the country covered. And then we have another 35, almost 40 locations under development, either in site selection, under construction, or folks who have just completed training and are about to open their stores. So currently we're in about 12 states, and we'll be in about 20 states by probably the second quarter of next year.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that. That's huge. I mean, that, I don't think the average person doesn't understand how difficult that is and how much work goes into that. And there's lots of regulations and all sorts of other stuff that we won't talk about today, but just like I know from meeting as many business owners as I've spoken to, that is one heck of an accomplishment. Most franchises don't even ever get to 30, let alone 50 or 60 or 70 or however many you're going to have after what's in development, plus the new ones you'll be adding. So yeah, congratulations. And you don't get that far, you don't get to this point if you're not caring about other people's dogs the way they would hope you would, and you don't get this far if you're not doing the right things. So is there that one, and you probably have many. You're probably littered on Google all across the country with different great reviews from people. But is there like a testimonial or a win or something you've done or one of your franchisees has done where somebody just said something so nice, such a good testimonial or win that you could share it, and it's kind of that one that just keeps you excited about what you do?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, there's a overwhelming number of those, and when I go back to the early days at the very first location, when this all started, it was funny. We opened up and we got in this habit of you have 60, 70, 80 dogs per day coming for daycare. So you see a car pull up in the parking lot, and you kind of who it is, and you see the dog come in, you remember the dog's name, and you don't always remember the human's name, but that's important because the human, all they care about is health. They know my dog. So we opened up, the first store in the fall of 2009, and come the holiday season, at the end of 2009, we started getting all of these cards and baskets of fruit and candy. Hopefully, some of them were from your past. And just all of this, just this incredible outpouring of appreciation and thankfulness for what we were doing and providing this, what seemed like any other service. And obviously, we loved it because it was the connection with the dogs. But it was the first kind of, wow, we're people really, really appreciate this and love us for what we were doing. And then it became, even a step further. We started getting invitations in the mail, and we'd be opening them up, and we're like, this is an invitation addressed to me, to somebody's wedding or to somebody's kid's bar bat mitzvah, or to like what it is. And I'm reading this and I'm like, I'm going to have to go into our system and even see who this person is. And then I look it up and I'll be, oh, it's Fluffy's mom, or, oh, it's Fido's dad. And I'm like, wow, like they really consider us part of the family now. Like we're getting it. So I think that was, just kind of, it's not necessarily one specific review or one specific thing, but it was just this overwhelming sense of like, we are part of the family, and clearly we're doing something right, because these people not only love us and trust us with their dog every day, but they're pulling us into these, very personal types of, events and life moments. And it kind of spiraled from there and led us to where we are now and having this conversation, which is, after we opened up the second location and started thinking about, all right, how do I, move to the third location, had so many customers coming to us saying, hey, we love the brand. We love you guys. We love what you're doing. And this seems to be a really good business model. How do we get involved? Can we open one of these? Can we license your brand? Can you teach us how to do this? Can you help us? Because we want to take this to, where we're from or where we're going or whatever it is. And that was kind of the inspiration for, we're going to franchise this business model. And it helped me overcome a huge concern I had, which was, I can't go open this in Dallas or in North Carolina or wherever it may be, because I know you have to have a connection to the community, and that's all part of the letting people feel the love and building the trust and whatnot. Nobody's looking for a corporate conglomerate to care for their dog, and you come to find out that the owner lives 500 or 1,000 miles away. That's kind of like that's a strike one or two or three. So that, coupled with this outpouring of kind of love and wanting to be part of it from our customers, is how we decided to go down the franchise path.
Yeah, I think that is so cool. I literally got chills when you told me that about the wedding invite or the bar mitzvah invite, or like that, and again, I keep harping back to my own experiences with our dogs and how we are as a dog family. Like I have a daughter who we don't let anybody babysit our daughter. It's like grandma, like our parents, right? Like
Sure.
grandparents. Yes, fine. Anybody else probably not going to watch our child. And with Gemma, with our dog, when it was Juno and Gemma and now it's just Gemma, we like we're very very particular about who we want. And yes, we, Christmas time, there's something going to to our person who takes care of the dog. And yeah, it is, you said that and I never really thought of it, but yeah, there's so much trust, and you do have to consider that person as part of the family. And I love that you're, even with your franchisees, one of those concerns you had was, I guess, and I'm sure you still, through some type of vetting process, like, are these people gonna be owners that are gonna live up to the care and concern that I would want them to have to keep our brand reputation intact, right? So
100%. It's a big part of what we do, which is, I've learned over the years, and there's been a lot of learnings kind of transitioning from a dog care business to a franchisor, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But
sure.
it's all about finding the right people who truly buy into who we are and what we do, and most importantly, why we do it. And I spend, arguably just as much time trying to talk people out of doing this
Right.
as opposed to into it, because as you learned, there's a lot, that people don't realize or understand or recognize about starting your own business. And we try to be very transparent, just as we are on the dog care side of things, as we are on the franchise side of things, and make people know you need enough working capital, and this is realistic expectations of what it's going to be. But even when you lay all of those out there, whether it be the amount of money that's required, or the it's 24/7 365, and there's no, it's 5 o'clock on Friday and I'm turning this off, or it's the employee management, or the 50 things that all add up to why it's so difficult to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. What we offer, being dog care, and much like your wife said, can we just find a way to go play with dogs all day long? All of those red flags, which with in any other industry, whether it be, pizza or candy or, massage or whatever it is, people would see those red flags and be like, oh, you know what, this isn't right for me, I'm going to stick to what I do. But when it's dogs, and you show people a room of 100 dogs, and that could be yours, they just kind of gloss over all of those red flags, which should be a warning. And they're, so it's just very, very important that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And that's really been part of our process of finding the right people who are confident, can handle all of those things that go into owning a business, and on top of it, kind of fit into the Dog Stop mission.
Sure. No, I think it's awesome. And you mentioned something about learning some lessons along the way, right, through this process. And your interview, this interview is just going so swimmingly well because everything you'll say something and it's like, that's exactly where I'm going with the next question. So let's talk about that. Earned it, learned it, improved your authority. So you kind of talked a little bit about your background and some of your schooling. Does it require any titles or certifications, or has there been any schooling, or just talk about your education to get you to this point?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, was very fortunate to go to some great schools growing up, and had parents and siblings that kind of encouraged me to not be too narrowly focused. I always point to the advice that my sister gave me, which was, it's just as important to figure out what you don't want to do as it is what you do want to do. So just try as many things as possible, and when you find things you don't like, cross those off the list and keep going until you find something that you do like. So, I think, having a very, diverse and varied experienced background, from everything from some more traditional business roles to, I always tell people that working in a restaurant is about as good of an experience as you can get as a young person, because you learn customer service, you learn, some of the economics of business. And you, most importantly, just learn the kind of hard work. You got to put your head down and just do it. It's not glamorous, and it's not, flashy or showy, but it's what most, careers and jobs end up being. So, I and I came to it obviously with a love for dogs. I have learned so much, especially in this kind of new and emerging industry where, frankly, there isn't a good playbook. There isn't a good certification you can go get. There's a lot of information that teaches you how to interact with one dog, and then that's what, the obedience training profession has been built upon for the last, 50, 60 years. But, good luck going out there and, finding somebody who actually knows what they're talking about to show you how to, take in 150 dogs in a day and group them into 4 or 5 different groups and make sure that they all not only have fun, but that they get along and everybody, both the humans and the dogs in the building, remain safe. It was a very interesting kind of process and evolution of the dog stop. And, I've been really fortunate to cross paths over the years with some of the most talented people in the dog care space who, are now all part of our team and have they've taught me and they've made the dog stop better. And now they teach all of our franchisees how to do it. But, we're all continually learning. We're all forging, new partnerships. We just recently struck up a partnership with Fear Free, which, it sounds obvious, but they started. It's an organization that focuses on how to take the fear out of whatever the dog's experience is. It started in the veterinary space, as we mentioned earlier. Most dogs don't like going to the vet, and not too long ago they expanded it into the whole kind of dog care industry. That we are proud to say that we at the Dog Stop, we are the first and only franchise that is Fear Free certified. So everybody in our facilities is certified in all of the fear free behaviors and techniques, on top of also being CPR and first aid certified. Very important that our team knows what they're doing and how to ensure that it's the best possible environment. But between the dog care side of things and the franchise side of things, there have been just so many mentors that I've been fortunate enough to connect with, again, both on the business side and the actual dog care side, that have allowed me to kind of pull it all together and with everybody's help and hard work and
Mm-hmm.
collaboration, turn it into what it is now. And like I said, it's getting better and better by the day, and we keep growing and learning, and it's there is no perfect, there is no we've accomplished this. It can always get better. And it's also wonderful because the needs and demands of the humans who own the dogs is also constantly evolving and growing. And it's a lot of fun to take their input and their feedback and say, okay, we can do that and we can make this an even better experience. And it's just a wonderful kind of equation that's kind of coming together here.
I love that. I love the answer to that question, and it's so common. I'm getting ready to do our 100th episode. It's coming up quick, and we're going to do kind of a best of. And so many business owners have said that, schooling's great, formal education great, but until you're actually doing this thing that you're doing, and you're actually doing it on a day-to-day basis, that's where the education really starts, because now you're in it, you're doing it, and it's that school of hard knocks type of thing. Is like that. I don't think formal education necessarily always prepares us for. I mean, it's when the rubber meets the road and you're doing it, that's when a lot of, you got to find mentors, you got to find this, you got to find that, you got to find these things, and that's when it's really good. I got a couple questions for you left, and this has been a really fun interview. I'm gonna change gears a little bit. You don't necessarily have to change gears, but I always like to ask this one because you can answer professionally through your experience with the Dog Stop, or you could just, specific to Jesse, how you would want to answer this. But just tell us something you're truly thankful for.
Wow. So many things. I mean, on the professional side, as I just mentioned, there have been so many, just mentors along the way who, went out of their way to help, craft this and allow it to become what it has become. So thankful for our customers, of all the different stores, of all the different services, and, allowing us to, care for their dog. I mean, it's a tremendous responsibility, one that, every Dog Stop employee takes incredibly seriously. And, I know what I hate to call it a leap of faith, but, in those first hours and days when you go into a new facility and, you leave your dog there, it is just that, a bit of a leap of faith, and you do everything you can to research it and be confident in your decision. But so thankful for the customers. And then, just lastly, the support, not only from, the professional side of things, but personally, I've the most wonderful, loving, caring, wife in the world who's always supported me, and two young boys, and parents and siblings, and, a huge extended network. I've been so blessed to just be incredibly well supported, and in this crazy idea that turned out to be a good one, and many others along the way, which maybe weren't as good of ideas, but just very, very blessed and thankful for the people in my life who both professionally and personally who have helped me to get here, because I certainly wouldn't have made it a hundredth of the way this far without all of them.
That's the answer that I find that resonates the most. I mean, I find that anybody who's successful, they have a strong network of supporters, people that love them, care about them, and are willing to go on crazy rides with them. I mean, it's it really is. I think it's critical. I mean, I'm learning more about business through this Meet the Experts process. When I started, it was like, hey, this is a really nice, easy way to give some business owners some video content that they can use in their social media. And it's turned into something so much bigger than that. You never know, what it's going to turn into. So I appreciate that answer. That one might make the greatest hits one. All right, I got one more question for you, Jesse, and I'll let you go get back to your day. I really, if anybody wants to learn more, I definitely, at the bottom, we've had thedogstop.com. Go learn about the model, learn about the franchise, learn about the business. Maybe if there's a dog stop near you and you have your four-legged furry family members that need a cool place to go so you can go on vacation sometime or do something or just go to work.
Yep.
I encourage everybody to check out thedogstop.com. But in every business, and I told you before the episode, it can be, maybe it's a question a potential franchisee asks, or maybe even more specifically, depending on the audience that might see this video, maybe just something that a dog owner or potential customer, client of yours would ask. But there's always frequently asked questions. So
Sure.
is there that one big question that you find yourself getting asked over and over and over again? I'll ask you, just tell us what that question is and go ahead and answer it on video.
Yeah, so it is, and it's interesting. It's the same question, but it comes from two very different perspectives, and it is, why the dog stop? Why is the dog stop any different from everybody else out there? And the two different perspectives who ask that are the potential customer who's looking to board or groom or use us for daycare, and then the other perspective is the potential franchisee who's considering us and other franchisors in the dog care industry, and may also be considering, all the other possible franchise business opportunities that are out there. And this could be a whole nother episode on its own, because I could go for probably 3 hours on both perspectives answers. But to try to sum this up, from the dog owner and dog care perspective, it's a variety of different things, but it really is the synergies that happen from having all of the services under one roof and allowing us to really get to know your dog, and provide the right offerings for your specific dog. Our facilities are large. We have a staff that is trained in every possible type of behavior. And it truly allows us to offer something for every dog owner, and help with whatever their needs may be, and maybe even some needs that they don't even know that they have, or that they didn't think could be addressed. But all of those different services really allow us to provide something to all dog owners out there. And if you haven't checked us out yet, if we're in your market, I encourage you to do so. Even if you love the place that you already go, just stop in, because even if it's just some knowledge or an awesome treat or toy or whatever it is, we're here to help improve the relationship that you have with your dog, whether they're with us or they're with you, or whatever it may be. And from a potential franchisee or business owner perspective, it's all of what I just mentioned, and why it's a superior business opportunity and offering. And to piggyback on that, a lot of the competitors in the space have a kind of unwritten rule, which is, if you can't play, you can't stay. Which means if your dog isn't social and doesn't pass what they call a temperament test, we call it an interview, because we know it has nothing to do with the temperament of the dog. Sorry, we don't have anything to offer you. Good luck finding somebody to care for your dog. With us, if your dog doesn't pass the interview, that means that, at least at the moment, it's not the right fit for a social daycare environment, but we can still board your dog, we can still groom the dog, we still have the obedience training in which we can try to work through some of those behaviors, that are preventing the dog from being social. We have the retail side of things. We have the in-home services to still satisfy the need that you have immediately, if it is, during the day for daycare. So, that really allows us to truly offer something to every dog, as opposed to just those, very kind of friendly, easy to handle dogs that everybody else is so heavily focused upon.
Absolutely. Jesse, this is great. I wish you continued success with your business. I hope we get to kind of have another conversation after this at some point. Just on that level, on franchising, maybe a good resource to ask on that. But yeah, I encourage anybody watching, go to thedogstop.com. Jesse, thanks again for being a guest today.
Thanks so much, Jay. Loved it.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon. All right, that was a lot of fun. As always, I love just the new perspectives. It's all about the perspectives, the insights, and I encourage anybody who's watching this from my end, my audience, to check out the guests and go look at their sites and watch the episodes, because if you're an entrepreneur like me, or just thinking about being one, or maybe you're just in a position of leadership in your company or marketing, so many things get uncovered that we don't really think about or talk about. And if you want to learn how to just kind of find the answers, they're here. I found so many answers. But until our next episode, we are getting close to number 100. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Keep tuning in. Keep watching our social media channels for when we're going live with our, well, it's not live, but with our next pre-recorded episode. And until our next episode, try to be good to one another. And as I've been saying a lot more recently, and I tell my daughter this every morning when she gets out of the car to go to school, I said, say something nice to somebody else today. Just do something